What's good, YouTube? It's Taeman, and today, man, we're gonna be reacting to Saitama versus Popeye Death Battle. Now, we already know going into this fight, Popeye is an old school cartoon character. Saitama, the new age troll character that literally can beat people in one punch. So we finna go into this fight. I already got Popeye losing this fight by a landslide. Like, Saitama, he just can't be beaten. Like, literally. But let's go ahead and start this video.
Life is pain, brutal and short. The challenges we face during our brief sojourn on this tiny blue marble are what make us human. They light a fire in our soul. They make it all worth something. Without them, we are lost.
Yeah, it's a little early in the day for an existential crisis, but luckily I came prepared.
For this failed salaryman, all it took to get that fiery passion back was to save this butt-chin child from a crab monster in underwear.
Wow.
That was a sentence.
This man was Saitama, and he was going to be a superhero.
And so he trained, pushing his body beyond its limits and shattering the boundaries of humanity.
So hard, his freaking hair fell out.
Saitama's strength grew exponentially day by day, with the goal of becoming the greatest hero who ever lived.
And much to his horror, that's exactly what he got.
All it took was one punch. He became too strong. He became the one, the only, the infamous Kate Baldy.
But anyone who's cool knows him as One Punch Man, as in he can't help but beat almost every opponent he's faced in exactly one punch. One friggin' punch! And this is a universe with some pretty whacked out monsters, like a giant who's over a quarter of a kilometer tall and can stomp city-sized craters into the earth.
Or an Esper who can effortlessly pull giant meteors from outer space.
Or a Monster King who shaved off a continent from the Earth's surface and lifted it into the stratosphere. And Saitama's never even broken so much as a sweat fighting any of them.
During their battle, that same Monster King absorbed this huge chunk of the Earth's core and fired it at Saitama,
who blocked it by squirt gunning some lava at it. The lava he was bathing in, naked. And then he punched him. Surprise.
Saitama's created after images just by hopping side to side, defeated a martial arts master with his butt, and survived the inhospitable vacuum of space after being kicked all the way to the moon and before jumping back to Earth in about 16 seconds. That's 8% the speed of light.
Kinda like the time he blocked attacks from this alien dude who stated to move near light speed, or punch so fast his fist starts to blue shift. You know, that thing that happens when you approach the speed of light?
Saitama utilizes his absurdly superhuman strength and speed with techniques like his devastating normal punch. And if he wants to amp it up, the consecutive normal punches.
Are you kidding me? Those are his attack names? What kind of self-respecting anime protagonist is he?
Plain and simple, he's a satire form. Instead of seeing his journey from the beginning and enjoying his struggle to the top, we join him when he's already there.
Basically, imagine if Goku went Super Saiyan in his fight against Jackie Chun. Kinda sucks all the drama out of it, doesn't it?
And that's the point. Far from the power fantasy the genre is known for, Saitama's life became an existential nightmare. Without suitable conflict, the struggle that had heretofore defined him became meaningless. His new reality was inescapably boring.
Which is really saying something when he can decimate mountains without even hitting them, or shatter asteroids that rank a 9 on the Torino scale. For those not in the Torino, that's equal to 1 trillion tons of TNT. This guy's training must have been insane.
That would be 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day. And that's it.
You've got to be shitting me.
It doesn't make sense because it's not allowed to make sense. To be fair though, to someone who isn't already a trained soldier or athlete, keeping that workout routine every day for years is pretty much impossible.
While 100 push-ups and sit-ups are technically doable, especially if you space them out, doing 100 squats and then running half a marathon every single day would absolutely destroy your legs.
Put simply, effective workouts involve shredding muscle fibers at the micro level, then allowing them time to repair themselves more durable than before. This repair process requires hydration, consuming protein and carbohydrates, and lots of sleep.
But Saitama's workout schedule doesn't give them time to repair, which means he was basically just ripping himself to shreds over and over and over. After a few days, he shouldn't even have been able to move, but he just kept going.
There might be an explanation. Take the brilliant scientist Dr. Genus, whose half-century of research into evolution Saitama erased in, well, one punch. According to Genus's hypothesis, Saitama's training broke his limiter.
Basically, every living thing on Earth has a limit to their natural abilities. At some point, no matter how badass they are, they'll plateau. Wait a minute. Have I peaked? I gotta go to the gym!
Well, Saitama trained so hard, he literally defied the laws of nature and reality. He just breaks the logic of his world. He crushed the entire field of evolutionary biology in the palm of his hand.
And while he has stated that his strength did eventually stop growing, it's pretty clear he's never gotten close to showing it off in full.
Such as when he fought the godlike alien conqueror Lord Boros, and finally broke out his serious punch. A blow where he punches a little harder than normal.
And reflected Boros' collapsing star-roaring cannon. Now, you see, that's an attack name. An energy blast that was going to blow up the friggin' planet. That's over 50 zetatons of TNT. Like a quadrillion of the world's strongest nukes going off at once.
Despite his obvious and overwhelming power, Saitama's accomplishments were never officially recognized. As if no one in their right minds could believe a psych ward Charlie Brown could save the world.
Well, he doesn't seem to mind. Almost as if being removed from anything resembling conflict gave him a perspective on how tropey and contrived his world is. Only Saitama's the only one in on the joke, because who cares about how far up their own ass a supervillain is when you can just chill at home with your buds and play video games?
Maybe that was the real lesson all along. Not to value our lives based on our accomplishments, but on the time we spend living and enjoying life's simple pleasures.
I'll leave that to Saitama, and I can't think of anything more pleasurable than punching so hard my name becomes a byword for literally unbeatable. The dude is the undisputed king of broken anime characters, because until Saitama finds his equal, he's gonna end all his fights in one punch!
Facts. That's why I got him.
Popeye the Sailor Man, hero, adventurer, sailor, man.
Oh, two against one, huh? How do you like that?
Man, he sounds like he smokes a pack of Marlboro Factories every day. And if you ever wanted to know what angry cat sex sounds like, he can sing.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Golly.
How exactly do you know? Never mind.
Sounds
Popeye's
terrible.
origins are humble. Born to the cruelly named Poop Deck Pappy, Popeye was, immediately upon birth, horrifically ugly. So ugly, his father fled in embarrassment of his spawn and never returned.
So Popeye grew up with a chip on his shoulder and a pop in his eye, especially after discovering his higher calling, beating the snot out of people.
Don't worry, Popeye's fists are righteous, only spilling the snot of those who deserve it. Inspired by his adopted father, Whaler Joe, Popeye set out to put his combat prowess to the test and join the Navy, becoming a true sailor man.
It was there he learned the sweet science of boxing and to battle against World War II era racial stereotypes. I'm being non-specific, not just for sensitivity, but because there are so many examples.
Originating in the era of rubber hose animation,
That's how
Popeye's
shows were
body
back
is
in the day,
essentially
so.
made of, well, rubber, able to stretch, twist, squish, and squash any way
So
he
he's
likes.
basically
Or
Luffy.
rev up his arm for a punch that'll knock you around the
Luffy is
planet.
basically-
Popeye's punches are fascinating, since they can disincorporate their targets into composite elements, like turning anchors into fishhooks, an alligator into handbags, and several Native Americans. You know, I don't even want to know.
I think the reason's pretty simple, Wiz. He's a cartoon. He can basically do whatever he wants. He can shoot fire from his corncob pipe, pull a canyon closed, punch bolts
this
of
will be
lightning
what
out of the air,
will
and even
Saitama.
give the sun a black eye.
Judging by the distance the sun is from the
His
Earth, as
ability
well
to
as the
break
time it took for the
light,
high striker
literally
puck to reach it, the puck must have been moving at 500 times the speed of light. In order to generate that force, Popeye must have swung his fist just as fast. Hell, he's even shadowboxed so fast, he
Like, it's an
somehow
old cartoon,
occupied
so they
2
not
places
using
at
logic.
once and hit himself.
So, was he just born this way? Is being ugly the secret to pulling insane bullshit superpowers out of your ass? Because if so, you might want to get on that, buddy.
No. The secret to Popeye's immense physical strength is simply the virtue of nutrition.
I knew you'd find a way to make it lame.
Specifically, Popeye has spent his life consuming a miracle herb that has turned him from a mere sailor into a veritable god. Spinach.
Propaganda straight from the bean counters at Big Vegetable. You'll never get me to eat my grains, damn you! It's only animal flesh and grain alcohol for me!
Originating in Persia, Spinacia oleracea is a leafy green nutrient and antioxidant-rich vegetable that can help prevent cancer and
Right, bruh.
reduce blood pressure.
And
I hate eating
apparently
spinach, nah.
imbue your
Be honest with
biceps with the
yourself.
power of God and anime.
While a normal can of spinach contains about 44 calories, when used in Popeye's world, its effects are multiplied. Not only does it immediately increase Popeye's already impressive strength and speed even further, it makes him virtually impervious to harm.
It lets him fly, turn invisible,
So
shapeshift
basically,
his
if you run out
body
of
into
space, it
literally
does something.
anything, and even survive the universe
That's all I'm
getting
getting.
turned off. That's right, this big whatever the hell that thing is apparently God, and he turned off reality in order to kill Popeye and his friends. Cause why not? Except guess what? Popeye was fine. Why? Because he eats his spinach.
I wonder what its nutritional content
I
is
eat
like.
spinach.
Well, let's find out with
Look at
math.
that.
No!
A single can of spinach in Popeye's world was once able to grow a beanstalk so tall it reached into outer space, all the way to a nearby solar system, and
See, bro?
shattered this stylized yellow star.
We
By
talking about
measuring the
spinach
volume
reaching
of
the
this
stars,
spinach
man.
stock and including the caloric density of regular spinach, we can calculate one single can of Popeye's spinach contains over 46 undecillion calories. That's over 700 octillion times greater than the total calories the average person will consume over their entire life.
That's over 46 million Yoda tons of TNT.
No way.
Enough to destroy, well, a star. Or enough to punch your annoying neighbor so hard that when they land, they tilt the Earth.
By measuring the angle of the planet after tilting, we can determine its axis was adjusted by about 13 degrees
But see,
in
bro,
less
they
than
over
a
here
second.
talking about
That's a
tilting the
speed of
planet
about
and stuff,
1.8
like-
million meters per second.
I
not gonna
wonder,
have anything
is
to do
that
with this
enough
fight.
to power a rocket ship so fast it travels backwards in time? Yeah, 'cause that happened. I only know of one type of herb that'll take you through time. Whatever kind of spinach it is, it sure ain't normal.
Not true. Popeye doesn't consume some special magical spinach. Any kind will do, even if it's handed to him by the audience in the real world watching his cartoon.
He can summon cans to his side by whistling for them, praying to gods, painting them into reality, or just waving his hand. The dude has literally been disintegrated into nothingness,
So
and
the
his
spinach is
nothingness
gonna
grabbed a
always be there.
spinach can out of nowhere and ate it. Nothing ate it. His nothing. And then he came back with his I don't know.
He can even punch so hard he tears the film strip he's being animated on, or exit his cartoon to beat the shit out of his own animator.
So Popeye's basically fought two different versions of God and whooped their asses. You know, he's a pretty chill
Hey, so
broski,
he's out
considering
of
he's
this world.
basically a spinach-eating Lovecraftian nightmare.
But he's always
Popeye
down
might
for
be
a scrap.
one punch
So
man.
if you decide to antagonize him, be aware you're messing with one of cartoon's all-time heavyweight champions. And, for your own sake, eat your fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
All right, the combatants
still
are
not for
set.
one
Run
man,
the data
but
through all
Popeye might
possibilities.
win.
But first,
Alright, Saitama going to go get some Spanish, and they finna fight over some Spanish.
Scrap's always so expensive. No thanks.
Guys, can't stand no one
I like the
bad mouthing
animation
me
already.
spinach.
Come
Put him
on.
up, yes, big palooka.
Whatever.
Give me a 1 and a 2 and a 100.
Man with it, man.
Oh, yes, okay. Gotta get this picture. Don't want to be a bully. Well, blow me down. You ain't got a scratch on
Hey,
you.
yo!
I know, right? Overwhelming strength is so boring.
Me.
I can't read that.
Golly.
Huh?
Oh, that's finished. Right back up. This is gonna be a long fight.
Okay.
A little bit more interesting now.
I'm just a guy who's a hero for fun. Who the hell are you?
Yep, I am what I am, and that's all what I am. What do you know? How am I gonna get back home?
Amazing! This is amazing! How did you get so strong?
Science be spinach.
How can this fight end, though?
Can this be? My heart's beating so fast. My muscles ache. I can feel them again.
Stood on the side.
That's all I can stand, 'cause I can't stand no more.
I never thought it would happen.
Saitama will get
Serious
so
fight.
happy that he fighting somebody
I
on his
found
level.
it!
That he's gonna
Thank you, weird spinach mascot.
Popeye wins. They did their thing with the animation, bro.
He took a big gamble, but now he is scrambled. I'm Popeye the
Bro, that's
Sailor
crazy, bro. Turned him
Man.
into an egg and this dude over here singing.
KO! Well, I guess you could say that
This
fight
was
was
amazing.
over easy. Wait,
Amazing
except
animation.
isn't Saitama's whole gag that he can't
Amazing.
lose?
It is, but it's more nuanced than that. Despite
Like,
breaking
this is
his
a show I would
limiter,
really
Saitama's
watch.
strength isn't limitless. He's said so himself.
Breaking his limiter meant his potential strength was likely infinite, but there's nothing left in his world powerful enough to push him to get stronger, like a bodybuilder stuck with 5-pound dumbbells.
He also doesn't possess some
Saitama
magical
had no
ability to
beats,
kill someone
but
in one
Popeye
punch
was
regardless of
literally
effort. Powerful adversaries like Boros and Garo have survived his blows repeatedly, albeit briefly, and he's never met anyone quite like Popeye the Sailor Man.
According to the mangaka, One Punch Man's gag is that Saitama is an anime protagonist at the end of his series, slapped in at the beginning of his series, where he's too strong to have a challenge.
So, if we know Saitama's strength does have a limit, what is it?
We know he can deflect Boros'
Yep,
planet-destroying
yeah,
blast, but he was clearly super casual about it. He may have called it his serious punch, but that's the joke. He's only now getting kind of serious.
In order to get as generous a number as possible, let's assume Saitama was exerting the least amount of effort he could to throw that punch. Since he's still technically a human, we can assume the ratio between the least amount of effort possible and the most is relatively consistent with other humans. Let's just say he burned the equivalent of only 1 calorie relative to the strongest punch ever recorded, which was over 1,000 joules. For reference, the average person burns about 1 calorie a minute doing absolutely nothing. So this is assuming Saitama is literally as casual as physically possible.
That'd make his strongest punch about 200 times greater than his weakest. Using Boros' energy blast as a base, Saitama's theoretical strongest punch would be over 11 Yoda tons of TNT.